So everybody's been familiar, I'm sure that they've heard about at some point or another about the Equifax breach. I was personally affected by that, and I found out that Equifax actually had two breaches, and my identity was stolen in both breaches. As a result of that, I've really had to go to some extreme measures to protect my identity and protect my life. Really, I've had to get all three credit bureaus offer some type of credit monitoring, so I've had to get that on top of buying a third-party product like LifeLock. This is not an endorsement of LifeLock, but I had to purchase that for myself. Anybody that even remotely suspects that they've had an identity theft, you need to pull all your credit bureaus. You need to sift through them, check everything, check the inquiries more than anything to see who's inquiring on your credit. And then really at that point, it's up to you to make a decision as to, how deep you want the protection to go. But you got to do something, because we're talking about, not just Equifax, but we've had, many other corporations now like Home Depot, Target, and now this huge hotel chain has announced recently that they've had an ongoing breach. And that's really, worrisome considering how large that hotel chain is. I've heard in the past, and I've seen advertisements in the past from private investigators who claim to investigate identity theft. Having been in the business now for 19 years, what I can tell you is there are small aspects of that private investigators can get involved in, but ultimately local law enforcement and, believe it or not, federal law enforcement are the two main entities that you would go to have this investigated. I personally don't believe there are very many, if any, private investigators that are equipped to actually investigate identity theft. And here recently, I found out that my email address has even been compromised, and has been sold on the dark web. So I would encourage people to actually get involved with some companies that can do dark web searches, find out what what information of yours is out there. And, it's just really forced us to have to put a lot of layers in place, both for the business and for me personally. The only thing I would really recommend to the public at this point right now is really look at your credit report, especially with Equifax. Verify that you have not been breached. If you have been breached, follow their protocols. They do have some protocols in place, so you definitely need to do that, especially with all these breaches happening around us right now.